I think generally most people here are big wrestling fans like I am, and I'm very excited for tonight. It's a big night. We have a big announcement to come, and there are a lot of big things in the future for AEW and pro wrestling in general. And tonight is a big part of it, and we're on our way to one of our biggest events we've ever had. Revolution always is a fun, great event, and I think, by the way, is anybody here an echo? Is anybody hearing the echo right now? Hopefully it's not more tech issue. I will continue.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That was going to be a long afternoon. Everything I heard was echoed. So thank you very much. And Revolution is always one of our best events. And I'm very much looking forward to a great Revolution. And you're all a huge part of it. So thanks for being here today.
All right, thanks, Tony. All right, so we're going to do as we normally do. I'm going to name who's up first and then who's on deck. So let's start with Garrett Martin from Paste Magazine, and following Garrett will be Brandon Thurston from WrestleNomics. Garrett, you're right.
Hey, Tony, you mentioned the big announcement. I know that's just a few hours away, but is there any insight you can give us about it before the show tonight?
I've kind of given hints. I probably don't want to say too much more before we go live on TBS tonight. I do think it's a major announcement. I think it will affect pro wrestling, and I think it's going to be awesome news for the fans and a lot of the wrestlers. And I'm really looking forward to it. And to be able to give that message to our fans on Dynamite tonight, it's a great pleasure, and it's exciting to have another reason for the fans to want to watch the show tonight, in addition to all the exciting things happening going into Revolution. So I'm sorry to lead off with not giving you probably what you wanted, but I do think we're not too far. Like you said, we're only hours away from the announcement, so I probably can't offer much more insight than I already have.
Nice try, Garrett. Next up is Brandon Thurston from WrestleNomics, and on deck will be our friend Dave Meltzer from Wrestling Observer. Brandon?
Hey, Brandon, for your time
What's
today.
up, man? Thank you, Brandon.
Yeah, great to talk with you. So the Nielsen TV ratings data that I've seen shows that while AEW's African American audience is pretty much on par with that of TV generally, that percentage of the audience is considerably lower than, say, WWE's African American audience. So I was wondering, is that something you feel you can change? And if so, what has AEW been doing lately to address that?
That is a tremendous question, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, Brandon. I have noticed that. I study the patterns very closely, and it's something I'm cognizant of, and an audience that we really do want to grow, and it's very important to us. It's not just growing that audience. I think diversity is very important to the company for a number of reasons, but absolutely expanding our viewership. We think that is something that will help us, and that's why you see so much great diverse talent on the show, and there's been better representation, I think, than ever before. Diversity among the champions and new stars coming in. So I think when you look at who's been coming into the company and the profile of free agents we continue to sign, and the huge push that Jade Cargill is getting, and a lot of the stars who have been getting pushed up the card and getting put in big spots, I think that is consistent with trying to grow that audience.
Okay, thanks, Brandon. Dave Meltzer from Wrestling Observer is next, and I'm going to follow that with a write-in from Jonathan Hood from ESPN Radio in Chicago. Dave.
Okay, Tony, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Dave. How are you, man?
Doing great. So I actually wasn't looking for that, but he actually triggered something where if you want to talk about the same similar situation with women. But my question was more along the lines of 2023, 2020, late 2022 through 2023. Is there anything in your mind to peak the company when it comes time for the next television contract negotiations?
Yes, there is definitely a goal to be as strong of a company or the strongest company we've ever been when it comes time to sign a new TV contract. And I think that could happen at any time if we were to renew. And I love where we're at, so that would be great. And I think that they're very happy with our performance. You know, certainly Dynamite has been so strong since it moved to CBS. Every single week since the premiere, we've been in the top 3 on cable, and we've had huge growth year over year with the move to CBS. And I think that we'll continue to keep a great audience for the next few years, and hopefully we'll be in the strongest position we've ever been in whenever it comes time to sign a new contract.
Okay, thanks, Dave. So Tony, here comes a write-in question from Jonathan Hood from ESPN Radio in Chicago, and I'd like to ask Amy Nemedy from WrestleJoy to be ready to be on deck. Jonathan's question is, other than the recently announced dates, do you foresee AEW Western or Mountain Time venues, including Canada, in 2022?
It's a great question. You know, obviously we have announced Double or Nothing coming to Las Vegas, and after Double or Nothing, our TV is coming through Southern California with Dynamite at the Forum June 1st, and with Rampage coming to Ontario on June 3rd. And we'll be at the Toyota Center for that event, and I do look forward to hopefully doing more shows on the West Coast and the Mountain Time Zones. We have been to Denver in the past and Salt Lake City before the pandemic, and I think there are more opportunities to get out and travel. You know, a lot of the dates we've been doing since we got back on the road last summer have been making up dates that were already scheduled, and we even still have, you know, some out in front of us. Like New Orleans is a great example of a city we were scheduled to be in before the pandemic and are going back now. And there are still some others that we had planned to hit before that we're going to go back to that we never made it to. And I would love to go back and hit some of those cities as soon as we can. So yeah, that is definitely a goal for us.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jonathan, for the write-in. Amy Nemedy from WrestleJoy is next, and she will be followed by Greg Oliver from Slam Wrestling. Amy, you're up.
Hi, Tony. Thank you so much for taking the time today. So AEW Revolution has an incredibly stacked card. By and large, people have been saying this is perhaps one of the best cards that you've been putting out. With Revolution, where we have CM Punk, MJF, Hangman, Adam Cole, Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, etc., is Revolution going to be a show that we can look to sort of set the tone heading into the year for AEW?
Absolutely, yes. I do think it will be. That's a great question, Amy, and I do really look forward to Revolution. I think, exactly like you said, setting the tone for a great year. Ever since we started with the first Revolution in Chicago at the Wintrust Arena, February 29th, 2020, that was one of the strongest cards we'd ever had. I think it delivered and was one of the best shows we've ever done. And now people have come to expect great matches from Revolution, and I think absolutely this could set the tone for a great 2022. And it's awesome to be, you know, back on the road in Orlando, in a city where there are so many great hardcore wrestling fans, and also a great travel city where people can come, and there's a lot to do, a lot with AEW, obviously. We got Dark taping tomorrow and the Rampage live show on Friday, which is going to be a great card, and I've got more to announce for it that people don't know about yet. And also the Fan Fest on Saturday, all leading to Revolution. And the card itself, like you said, is one of the strongest ones we've ever had, which is consistent with the Revolution brand. And our pay-per-views in general have tried to put the strongest cards possible, and I think that's why we have such a great loyal pay-per-view audience. So yes, I do expect Revolution can set the tone for 2022 with a great show. Thanks, Amy.
Indeed, thank you, Amy. Greg Oliver from Slam Wrestling is next, and that will be followed by a write-in from Rachel Gagliardi from Don Corday. Greg?
Hey, Tony. It's great to be talking today. How are you?
Great. Thanks for talking to me.
Great. I was going to ask you, we've seen the AEW roster grow in leaps and bounds in the last couple of years, and unfortunately, on the other side of things, you can't have everybody in the wrestling industry, so some people have to go. I wanted to know, how is it managing such a huge roster? And also, if you could comment on, he was there since the very beginning. He was integral in the formation of the company. What's your comment on unfortunately, Cody Rhodes leaving AEW?
Well, it is a challenging to manage such a huge roster, and it's a good challenge because I think we have the best roster in professional wrestling right now, and there are so many great stars on it, and I'm always excited when we can strengthen it and bring new people in, and I am very, very pleased that we've had such a great partnership with TNT and TBS that we had 2 hours of Dynamite, and that has been even stronger since it went to TBS, and that they gave us another show with Rampage on TNT, and it gave us more opportunities to showcase talent.